Where can you find fair, honest and reasonably unbiased opinions on world news and politics? Right next to the Fountain of Youth. Which in turn is right next to the McDonald's that has a working ice cream machine. Holy shit guys, there's someone who loves me right across the road. Oh, and of course the place where you can actually see John Cena. No one sees John Cena. What is this, an improv GRP? I had chicken for lunch. Me too, probably should have removed the feathers though. Here's your featherless biped, asshole. Thank God for commas. Not Reddit. The one good thing about Reddit is that if you subscribe to the right subs you can at the very least make sure you are seeing all of the different biases. And if you subscribe to World News you still get to hear about Trump in the US every 10 seconds. And if you subscribe to World Politics, well you sure get something. Try Ranimatides for World News with strict enforcement of Noah's domestic news. No, I'm not joking. This is why I love and hate Reddit equally. I personally love Super Bowl and marijuana enthusiasts. I knew about retrees and marijuana enthusiasts, but I never heard about Super Bowl. It's glorious, thanks. How did this happen? Why are trees and marijuana switches? Whoa. It's because trees was first and then when a real tree sub was created they just went with the joke. Porn comment sections. Just gotta find people while they're in post-nut clarity. What is the best sandwich? The one mom makes. Bruh. I did not expect this reply at all. It's like Keanu Reeves saying I know the ones who love us will miss us. As his reply to what happens after we die. I'm Mickey Mouse. They don't know who's inside the suit. Keanu Reeves. Damn. Knowing his life story, that hit deep. Hits even deeper when you know the life story of the interviewer who asked the question. When he was 10, Stephen Colbert lost his father and 2 brothers in an air crash. So he gave the perfect answer to a person who is someone who knows loss as deeply as he does. You can see how it gives the interviewer connection, peace, release and expression almost instantaneously. PBS NewsHour. I can't believe no one else commented this. They do a spectacular job every night at 6 p.m. and it's all on YouTube as well. I am amazed as well that it's so unknown. It's the best news outlet there and largely addresses people's concerns of biased news because they have some of the best journalists there is. They make everyone else look like bloggers. I really don't get why it's not more popular. Maybe because it's not 24 hours. It's because it's not 24 hours. My parents like to watch the news at 9, when Terry's only other biased choices. Edit, my parents generally watch CNN, but aren't huge fans of it. So they tend to alternate between that and local news channels. We have cable so I can check if PBS NewsHour is on demand. And yes, a huge problem is that people tend to think that pre-recorded news is old news, and focus on whatever is happening now to be the most recent and up to date. If you're willing to stream, I know many older people prefer cable, the YouTube channel has the episodes up all the time. Yeah, this is exactly the problem. My parents don't stream news. They'll stream movies and stuff, but they've this idea that since cable is live that the feed they're watching is live, and so they're getting up to the minute, actual, verified, trustworthy feeds. As if these stories aren't cobbled together days or at least hours ahead of time then put on the same 20-minute cycle. All gas no brakes. I ducks with the guinea horn. Clitorius. Throwback to that one guy on the beach who said something along the lines of squeezing limes into your eyes, snorting salt, slamming your head on the table, drinking, and then talked about how he ducked his friend when she was right next to him. Made me understand why the older generations might hate us. Show your butthole. Reveal your rectum. Butt pussy. That dumb shit screaming butt pussy and the old man standing at attention with his hand over his heart like General Patton just gave a pre-battle speech kinda makes me laugh. From Eastern Kentucky. Don't judge. Grammar good. App and Reuters. This is where all the news organizations get their news from. Then they apply their bias. The Associated Press. It's a nonprofit organization whose content gets republished by tons of other news services. Their bias is about as minimal as you can get, because their tone is pretty dry and fact-based and low on opinions. Their website is simple and straightforward and low on ads. The Onion. They're best at telling the news of the future. The Simpsons is pretty incredible at predicting some things, such an episode being released in 2000, set in 2021, where Donald Trump had just finished a 4-year term and left the country in awful condition. It was then up to new President Lisa Simpson to fix it. WTF, writers. Stop doing that. The only thing more eerie would have been if a woman had gotten the Democratic nod this year, as Lisa was shown as the first woman president. They didn't predict the 2020 Great Disaster. Futurama warned us though. Honestly, I think it's less of finding an unbiased source, as everyone has inherent biases, but more about finding sources from various viewpoints, doing independent fact-checking, and slowly finding resources that you personally can trust. I lean pretty left, so I have a lot of inherent biases. Regardless, I'll still read the primary and secondary sources if I can, to create my own picture of things. Edit, fixed a word. Doing independent fact-checking sounds nice, but in practice, this means people Googling until they find some crank with a blog that tells them what they want to hear. This naive notion of average people doing effective, meaningful research has contributed greatly to our current post-truth world. Isn't one of the key arguments of anti-vax I do my own research, which pretty much proves your point? Yep. I found mommyblog.com, which says that essential oils can cure all major diseases, also they can sell me those essential oils. Checkmate scientists and doctors. Just to add on this, looking at a weirdo website YouTube of a chiropractor is not the same thing as looking at primary data from PubMed and coming to your own conclusion. That's what your research means, at least in science, or actually running an experiment. That works too, for workers in the field. I've never met an anti-vaxxer who understands the definition of research, evidence, or even the scientific method for that matter. These are the people who tell you gravity is just a theory. Reuters. Except in Canada, where their owners live. You get the same problem across most news organizations. They are better with factual reporting abroad than at home because of conflicts with the people who run things. Like how Al Jazeera has a good reputation for English reporting on world news but is super shirty for bias on Middle East Qatari issues. I was gonna say, as a Canadian, Reuters has always seemed biased as duck. Unbiased opinions. How can an opinion be unbiased? It's an opinion. That's exactly what I thought when reading the question. Everyone assumes OP wants unbiased news sources, but that's not the actual question. I find that fascinating because it shows how intertwined opinion and assumption are in how people communicate. It's so deep that even an accurate question and response is difficult to accomplish. Go for several news from different countries. I've listed these before, here you go, or Google country news in English. All countries cover USA, not really other way around. France 24 in English, German DW in English, Irish Times, World News, ABC Australia. This is good list. I use other countries' public fund news as a great barometer for what's really going on in the news that day. Therese, always bias in the media. The best way to find what you're looking for is to read multiple sources and find similarities between them. I'll update if I find a better response. I keep a spreadsheet that ranks sources and details their format, general biases, and who owns them. PBS NewsHour has worked out best for me. Reuters and the Associated Press. Not Reddit, absolutely not Reddit. This isn't a news source, but it's a solid resource for vetting news sources. MediaBiasFactCheck.com. This month's news without the bullshit. A monthly YouTube video which strives to remain unbiased and pick out the most important things that happened each month. Wall Street Bits. Not Reddit. Nowhere. Read a news article, understand what are statements of facts, and cut out any commentary or opinion. Apply logical reasoning when reading and decide whether the analysis can reasonably be inferred from the facts. Fact: Mitt Romney voted to remove a president from his own party. Analysis: Mitt Romney made a decision that put his duty over his party, thus demonstrating integrity. Bias: Mitt Romney voted against Trump because he is bitter and jealous because Trump did not appoint him to a cabinet position. Also bias, Romney voted with the Democrats and is therefore a hero among men.